Obviously, this is a hearing that impacts California, and I would hope to believe, as a third-generation farmer from California, that this isn't a morning to simply beat up on California. And I, with all due respect, am not feeling that the panel that we have here, as good as it is balanced in terms of the different points of view that clearly are involved with a lot of other elements of agriculture and farmers that have adjusted and are taking advantage of the opportunities that Proposition 12 provides. The hearing today, I think, is obviously focused on the grievances on Prop 12, and let me be clear, I did not endorse Prop 12. It was a measure approved by the people of the state of California in 2018. It has created a niche marketplace for producers, but we also need to know that it wasn't fully implemented until July 1st, 2023 because of the litigation that took place. And in terms of the impacts on the market, while some studies have been cited, I don't think anyone cited the Oklahoma State University professor of economics who indicated from an economic analysis I reviewed there is no indication that Prop 12 has contributed to elevated pork prices at the national level. I want to insert that for the record. I think there are a lot of other elements that impact market prices, and let's start with tariffs. Mexico is the top valuation destination for U.S. pork. Last year, $2.5 billion. China is the U.S.'s largest market for pork variety meat by a value of $1.1 billion. Canada is the top market for U.S. processed pork and the fourth largest market for U.S. pork markets at $852 million. And of course, so what are we doing with Canada and Mexico? We're in a trade war. We're in a trade war. When in fact, in 2020, President Trump, after the conclusion of the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement, I think I remember him saying the best and most beautiful, greatest trade agreement ever known to mankind. Now we are in a trade war with our two biggest trading partners, Mexico and Canada, which accounts for about 40% of our trade, a lot of agricultural trade back and forth. It makes no sense to me. And by the way, that provision of USMCA had a good provision in it. It asked every 5 years for a review period. Guess what? We're in that 5-year period for the review period. Why not take advantage of that best, greatest trade agreement ever known to mankind that was signed by President Trump in 2020? This is a lot about political rhetoric. And I think this trade war goes to the heart of impacting American farmers. I'm a third-generation farmer. And I can tell you in California, we're most fearful about the impacts of our markets that we've established. 44% of our agriculture in California is exported. It's exported. And when we went through this scenario and Trump won, we lost market share that we still have not gained back. So the reality is we are losing markets largely due to uncertainty and inconsistency of this administration's inability to negotiate trade deals. 90 days, 90 countries, maybe here, maybe there. I don't know. But certainly the uncertainty and the confusion in the market space continues to lead to the questionability of the United States as a trading partner. And that impacts American farmers. It impacts California farmers. That's a fact. So it's a simple economic lesson. Less food being produced, less food being exported, more tariffs equals higher food costs. That's the bottom line. And tariffs are a tax on American consumers, American producers, American agricultural producers, and that relates to higher food costs. So I'd be remiss if I did not indicate that when we talk about Prop 12, when we talk about the other initiative, high-path avian flu was largely responsible for the increase in the costs of egg production, and that gets overlooked. I mean, the impact of high-path avian, we've depopulated 170 million layers, 30 million this year, and in California, 17 million. So I yield back the balance by time, but I think that we're missing the point here.